The hook is a really important part of the whole process, and the hook floats through or flows through lots and lots of different dimensions of our book. And it can be something that is an intriguing question, a surprising fact, or an emotional appeal. And we use this in writing the blurb, writing any marketing material, writing our introduction. It's something that is a very compelling idea that catches the reader's attention. And you're saying, look at this, come on in, read my book, read my book. And what it does is makes the reader feel that you know the answer to their problems. Now, in non-fiction, the hook lies in addressing, very obviously, the pain point or some kind of desirable outcome. So it connects with their needs, their desires, it opens up their curiosity and gets them thinking about what is possible, but also, I want to know more. It is always about the reader. It's not what we think is interesting. I mean, it is in part, but we have to really, really focus on the reader and say, well, what's going to hook them in? What's going to draw them in? And it is always about, they're searching for something. We have the answer. We want to draw them into what we have got to offer. We need to know the reader's problem. So what is their main problem? What challenges do they face? What are their needs, their desires? What do they struggle with? What is that question they're desperately trying to answer? So as long as the book answers that problem and gives them that little view in on a different world, it's going to draw them in. So here we are. Are you feeling stuck and unsure of your next step in life? This book will show you how to reinvent yourself and create a life filled with purpose and joy. So it's short, it's simple, you don't know where you're going, read this and this is what you're going to get. It's always about emotion. I talk about this so much. Everything has to appeal to their emotions. We want them to be curious, excited, know that we are connecting with them on a heart level. So imagine waking up each day with a clear sense of direction and purpose. This book will guide you through the steps to make that vision a reality. And something I want to say here is think about, I often talk about seeing words, feeling words, knowing words. So imagine waking up each day feeling a clear sense of direction. This book will guide you through that, creating, making sure that vision is a reality so that you feel. So there's different ways that we can do this depending on language. You need a great title and subtitle. We're going to look at this again when we get to that point where we're going to create our cover. That's when we're going to, seal the deed, as it were. But they're the first things, when we look at books and you look at the title and the subtitle and the image, you'll either buy it or you won't. So we need to make sure that they are going to draw people in. And this is something we've already talked about and we're going to talk again. Here's an example. Reinvent Your Life says what it does on the tin. Step-by-step guide to finding clarity, purpose and joy in midlife and beyond. Says what it does on the tin. So someone who's looking at a crossroads and thinking, I need to reinvent myself, I don't like where I am, says what it needs to say. We've talked about blurb. We need to make sure the blurb on the back of the book really draws people in. It tells them what it is that we're going to do. We're going to fulfill a certain promise. Feeling lost and uncertain about your future, Reinvent Your Life offers a practical yet deeply personal guide of rediscovering your true self and building the life you've always dreamed of. Well, for me, that would be buying the winning lottery ticket. I jest. But we've talked about that blurb. And again, we're going to talk about it again when we get to designing the cover. It's another hook to draw in our reader. Again, we need to think about, they picked up the book, they've read the back, love the picture on it. Now what they're going to do is they're going to open it up and they're going to start reading. They need something to draw them in. And again, when we actually get to writing, I'm going to talk about those introductions to every chapter. They are really important to get right. So every time someone gets to a new chapter, there's another hook. So have you ever found yourself wondering, is this all there is? Yes, I'm sure you have. You are not alone. Many people reach a point where they feel like they've lost their way. This book is your guide to finding it again. Yeah, it says what it does on the tin, so they know they're going on a journey of reinvention. And then, like I've just said, you use those chapter introductions to rehook them. So every chapter starts with a hook. Now, in case you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what they're going to be. Wait. When we get to writing, then we can think about these things. But more importantly, we'll be doing this when we're editing. So when we're editing, we'll look at what we've written and we'll say, does this hook my reader back in? This chapter will show you how to let go of old beliefs holding you back and embrace the changes needed to live the life you want. Yeah, says what it does on the tin. But again, this comes in the editing stage when we look at the chapter and say, how do we rehook our reader back in? Questions. We've already done 30 questions. Make sure that we embed questions in when we're writing. So we've got this great chapter title, we've hooked them back in, we tell them what we're going to do, and then we want them to pause. What if the only thing standing between you and a life of purpose is the courage to take the first step? And someone's going to go, yeah, what if? So you can take those questions and you can weave them in. What if is great. Imagine if is another one. Ask yourself, and then you might use what if or you. So again, we're hooking them in. We're opening up their minds to go, do you know what, this is a great book. I need to go a little bit further. So it matters whether, all of this matters. When you look at a really well-written book, there are hooks all the way through. And it sets the tone for your book. It brings that reader in and they're hungry to discover more. And they want to stay with you. I mean, how many times have you opened up a book, thought, this is fantastic. You get to chapter 3 and you think, oh, do you know what? I can't read anymore. It's not holding my attention. Your reader wants to be witnessed, seen, feel, heard, understood. And that's going to ensure that they keep reading. Oh my goodness me, this person's written this book and they've written it just for me. Absolutely, that's what we're doing. We're writing the book just for that one reader. So it is all about the reader. It is about them, their needs, their desires, their want, their journey. It's saying to them, this is not just any old, just another self-help book that you're going to pick up off the shelf. This is different. There's answers, there's guidance, there's questions. There are ways to take you from where you find yourself to where you want to go. And you're going to create, by doing all of this for that one reader, a lasting impact on them. And then what are they going to do? They're going to tell their friends, have you read this amazing book? And that's what we want. Personal recommendation is the best way forward. So all of these things we've talked about are all little hooks all the way through the journey. But it's well worth thinking about it now because it is all about the reader. So let's close everything in and let's take ourselves out of thinking about the reader, but being the reader and asking some questions. You know, when you look at the books on your bookshelf, is there a pattern to your buying habits? I know I've purchased books that look like they're going to be really interesting, and then they haven't. And then I've purchased other books, and I can see that I've purchased similar books in a series, if you like. So, you know, if you've bought 6 books on a particular subject, look at your bookshelf. Why? Did the first book not answer the question? Were you looking for something else? I mean, this is really important to understand, because when you write your book, you don't want your reader going, oh, I need to buy another book because it doesn't finish. I don't know what to do next. So what leaps out at you? What are your favourite books? How did they hook you in? That's the really important thing. How did they hook you in? Was it a pretty picture and a good title? Or were there hooks all the way through the book that you thought, oh, I've just got to keep reading, I've just got to keep doing this, I've got to keep going on this journey? What hooked you? So just step back and look at yourself as the reader.